Hey Claudine, thank you so much for helping me to find that song. It's like I was singing it and I had no clue who wrote it, who or anything. So it's I Will Remember You by Sarah McLachlan. Thank you. That song was haunting me. I feel like I was part of a kids choir or something where we sang that song, maybe for a talent show or something. I can't even remember the situation, but I know I don't just know that song by accident. But anyway, so your comment says that song is by Sarah McLachlan. Made isn't an easy decision to take. So many tests and forms must be completed. He chose a peaceful passing on his own terms before he loses himself and suffers from dementia. I wish him a peaceful passing on the day he has chosen. My partner received Made at 54 and it happened on his terms. He did not let the cancer decide for him. It was peaceful and painless. We need to remember that life is beautiful and have no regrets. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for weighing in. I didn't even know he had selected the procedure. I don't even know if you're allowed to talk about Made on this app, but how do I explain it? But Made is legal in Canada. That's when it's doctor assisted unaliving, and that's usually saved for people who are facing some kind of severe cognitive decline or some severe ailments that are going to basically ravage their body. So like cancer in the case of Claudine's partner, or the case of Robert Munsch, one of my favorite children's authors, whose book I just finally got. He has apparently just been diagnosed with dementia. And so I did want to read the article about his story before I made any further comments. All right, so this article was published by CP24. It's a news article source in Canada. So the title of the article says, Robert Munsch, Canadian children's author, approved for Made. I will not say all of that just in case TikTok bans it, but we'll just say Made, because Maid is a servant in a home, right? So hopefully that acronym / word shouldn't trigger the algorithm. So this was written by Tammy Ibrahimpour. It was published September 15th, 2025 at 6:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So you have Robert Munsch reading to a whole bunch of kids. Oh God, I wish he could have read to me one day. I wish I could have even met him before all of this, but it's okay. I hope that he knows that there's lots of love from me to him. Your books meant so much to me. The Paper Bag Princess was one of my favorites. I think it was 50 Degrees Below Zero. Stacy's Ponytail, that one always cracks me up. But anyway, let me read the article. So it says, author Robert Munsch reads to school children from one of his books at City Hall in Toronto on Friday, January 23rd, 2009. So the credits go to Frank Gunn from the Canadian Press. Okay. So it says Robert Munsch, the beloved Canadian author behind the children's books such as Love You Forever. I love that one. The Paper Bag Princess and Mortimer. I don't think I've read Mortimer. Has been approved for Made. A New York Times profile of Munsch published Sunday revealed that he had applied for Made shortly after being diagnosed with dementia. He said, "Hello, doc, come unalive me," he joked to the Times about his application. "How much time do I have? 15 seconds?" He said a date has not yet been set because the Canadian law requires that patients actively consent to Made at the time of their passing. Next slide. "I have to pick the moment when I can still ask for it," Munsch told the Times. However, Canada has revised the law, which allows the waiver of the requirement to provide final consent immediately before receiving Made for patients whose natural unaliving is reasonably foreseeable, including in instances where the person is at risk of losing decision-making capacity before their preferred date. Munsch said that his decision came after watching one of his brothers pass on slowly from Lou Gehrig's disease, fueling a desire not to linger in a state of prolonged suffering. "They kept him alive through all these interventions," he told the Times. "I thought, just let him pass on." CTV News has reached out to Munch's representatives for comment, but has not heard back as of publication. The 80-year-old author first announced his dementia diagnosis in 2021. Oh, I never heard, but I guess it was during COVID times. And has been navigating the disease and the physical challenges that accompany it since then. Munch was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and moved to Canada in 1975. He has written more than 70 children's books and sold millions of copies across North America. His books have also been translated into 20 different languages. Munch's stories are often based on real children he met during school visits and performances. Aww. It says many of his books, including Stephanie's Ponytail, quotes, and, quote, Think Big, were inspired by children he met on these tours. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm a storyteller, he wrote on his website, quote, I write books for kids, I talk to kids, I listen to kids. While his books brought joy to generations, Munch's personal life included struggles with addiction and mental health. Munch also faced the grief of, oh my gosh, 2 stillborn children before adopting 3, an experience that inspired Love You Forever, published in 1986. That book will haunt me for the rest of my life. It's so good. I wanted this story to be a book, and I had to change publishers because my regular publisher didn't want to do it, Munch wrote on his website. The book, which traces a mother's love across decades, was a best-selling children's book in Canada for 3 consecutive years. Next slide. The strange thing was that it was also the best-selling kids' book in the USA, only nobody knew it, including me, Munch wrote. It never occurred to me that it could be an invisible bestseller. In 2008, he suffered a stroke that temporarily erased his memories of his stories. Oh my gosh. Through speech therapy and perseverance, he gradually returned to storytelling, although less frequently. I can feel it going further and further away, he told The Times when describing his thinking and creative processes. Despite these challenges, he experienced a brief creative resurgence in 2023, writing Bounce, which was published in 2024. Another book, The Perfect Paper Airplane, written many years ago and recently revised, is set to be published this fall. Honored with the Order of Canada and a star on Canada's Walk of Fame, as well as 2 public schools in Ontario named after him, Munch's legacy as a storyteller who listened closely to children remains secure. Even as he faces the final chapter of his life, his stories continue to be cherished across generations. Look, this makes me so sad. This hurts my heart. It really does. Yeah, let me just take all this off the screen. It really hurts my heart. It really does. But at the same time, there's a part of me that says, like, I would never want to stand in the way of somebody getting the help that they need. I don't love MAID as a process, as a procedure, but I also don't love people suffering for the rest of their lives unnecessarily when they don't need to. You know, obviously there's a selfish part of me that wants to keep Munch alive and wants him to write as much as he possibly can. And now I feel like I have a mission to buy as many of his books as possible for the next few years and keep that memory alive in me. I will never, ever get rid of this book. If I could find more of his books in French and purchase them, oh my God, that would be like a dream come true. It's a difficult choice he made. And obviously he saw the suffering of someone else and decided he didn't want that life for himself. And even if I don't love the choice he made, I can respect it. And I just want to thank him. I know he'll never see this video, but I'm so grateful to Robert Munsch. When I was a kid, I had lived a very sheltered life, and books were the only way for me to learn anything about the world and to see life as other people saw it. And books like his really helped to brighten my life and enlarge my horizons. And I'm so forever grateful for the contribution that he made to my life. I will never forget you. And you will always be a treasured part of my life. Even though we never met, you are so precious to me. Live long and prosper. See ya.